Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. We're going to go over a few little things, but first, before you get started, if you've heard of this voice before, it is Crypto Mobster. This is my education company, the educational YouTube channel, so if you haven't been on yet, check out learningcrypto.co.uk. If you want these videos every single day, go to Premium, 7-day free trial, and you can get all of this for a great little fee, and ultimately live Zooms, private chats, lessons, and other little glorious bits and pieces. But we need to start off today's analysis with some fundamentals. So that being said, these are released every Friday, and currently similar sort of bias in the market right now. It's extreme greed because we've had some monumental rises over the last few days. We've also had a nice dip, and we'll go over the chart in a second. But some things to keep an eye on is obviously the increased relationships and partnerships with other crypto entities, with real life sort of organizations, the likes of Bybit partners with Borussia Dortmund, which is massive. When you think in the Premier League, there has been some sponsorships with exchanges. It's now starting to dribble into the Bundesliga. And, you know, when you look at the Premier League, it's a lot of Forex trading. A lot of the big clubs have Forex trading or eToro and stuff like that. It's slowly getting more established, and that's vitally important to get that kind of message across. The next one is obviously phase 0 of Ethereum 2.0 is out. This is obviously the element of, especially for staking, the idea here is to get as much into the staking pot as possible. There will be a mass exodus of the centralized exchanges with how much Ethereum has been holding. So that's going to be a big thing. There's also a Bitcoin Cash fork. Nice little hard fork. So if you hold Bitcoin Cash, there is going to be some sort of fork to change the entity of it. I'm not going to read it out, don't want to bore you. But ultimately, if you are holding it, you will get a new token. Happy days. And lastly as well, another little airdrop is a Spark token distribution XRP. The distribution date is within a month's time, give or take. So there's a lot to look forward to in terms of that side of it. And I remember in 2017, a lot of these were happening and it created a bit of a wave. So it was kind of interesting. But overall, fundamentals, some bits to keep an eye on, especially there. The one thing that we need to go over is obviously the obvious, right? We've not looked at the market for a while in terms of, the ultimate lines of what is happening due to the election. The election is still, well, is it? I don't know. Is it really that much of a big deal in terms of these voting ballots? Will it change the decision? Probably not. It's a massive sort of element of scandal, but it depends what happens with the market overall. I don't think the markets have reacted yet until it's officially done. So keep an eye on it. Just don't do anything silly at the minute. If you're looking at the overall last few days, when you see, if I go to the day range here, the last 5 days of the US market, it was very, very bullish throughout, okay, going up regardless. But when you look at today, very, very bullish. So expect a bit of hopium today. Gold is rising very, very highly at the moment. So you can see there's been a big push on gold over the last few days. The DJI has been doing very well. So that always reflects on what happens in the crypto market. The one thing that we have to look at as well is what is happening across the board with obviously spending cuts, unemployment, and obviously how many cases of coronavirus can it shake the market. And the Asian market has been very, very strong. Even in Europe, it's been quite low over the last few days, but yet to open. We'll see what happens overall in that. But the markets look very, very strong and in favour of Biden at the moment, even though we were expecting a bit of a dump. But we'll see what happens. It's very, very early days. Do not just say it's going to be bullish because it's bullish today. Until it's fully sworn in, it's hard to say. So why does that matter for us? Well, it matters for us because of the dollar value. The dollar value, I've mentioned it so many times overall in my analysis, that if the dollar's weak, Bitcoin's strong. It's the same with gold, same with other commodities as well. The fundamentals of it is how much of a betrayal image is, the relationships between other countries due to potentially Biden being the sworn-in president. We know that Trump has had a few little niggling issues with the likes of China. They may improve. That might increase the dollar strength. There's all kinds of little situations we can figure out and look at. In terms of overall analysis on Bitcoin, you can see here, like On the previous video on Monday that I did last week, I was saying that Bitcoin was going to go up to at least 14,500. I was wrong because we went a lot higher than that. We went massively higher. What we were on last Monday sort of region was around this region, looking at a breakout, and it zoomp, boom, absolutely flooded it. And that is obviously going to be somewhat expected in some ways because of A, FOMO, B, it's a much higher range, there's a lot less resistance, and also, you know, stimulus opium with the world that's going to shit at the bit basically now, right? But the Bank of England has just issued $150 billion. We're looking at a stimulus in America when the election's all fully dusted and whatever. There's people are realistically looking at this and buying this. But for me, fundamental wise, when you look at the Google trends, when you look at the search records, there's still not that euphoric sort of rush to buy yet, which is kind of scary. So I think when Bitcoin gets to a certain height, I think when Bitcoin gets to, you know, the news level, because of the coronavirus, because of the election, it's not really on the news bulletins that much as it stands, in my opinion. People are searching for it, YouTube and stuff like that, but, you know, in terms of being splashed out, oh my God, Bitcoin retested $16,000. Whoa, that's big news realistically, but it wasn't really portrayed as that. So that's interesting. But overall analysis, we're looking pretty damn strong still. The reason why I say this is when we zoom in and look at the bigger picture, let me just go for it. This dip was like, we went literally on the nose, pretty much 16K. Let's not worry about the $30 gap here. You know, there was a manipulated sort of like, let's just sell at 16K, round numbers. Always look at round numbers on Bitcoin, they love it. We dipped massively. We went all the way back down to 14,300, which is what I was explaining on, you know, a premium over the time, that we were looking at a potential support range of 14K at least. As I was saying, if we do not hold that 14K, expect to go down to these levels here, down where this point is where it's held strong. What we always need with Bitcoin, what we always need in any dip, is a liquidity grab. Liquidity wins, because if people are buying these dips, it's strong. It's just showing the momentum and we can push higher. We retrace perfectly back up to the range of where the CME was, where the CME shut on Friday. Absolutely, you know, you can't fault this. You just cannot, at the minute, you cannot fault this. But what we got to look at as well is, it is majorly high on the RSI scale. It's massively high. But we also need to understand that this is still, you know, there's still not that many bears on the market. They're getting slaughtered. Bears are getting slaughtered. But ultimately, the day will come where the bulls will get slaughtered. Piggies will get slaughtered. It always happens. Pigs get greedy, they get fat, and they get killed at the end of the day. So we've got to be careful. Don't just FOMO in. Always look to buy on any retracement you can, not a top. Just make sure that is important. Overall analysis going into the future, my target range is this next extension, 16,700. And I feel that this is going to become a very, very important level. It was support for one day. It rejected it. It came back up again in the same period of time. It's above it. I think this is now going to be support levels. It's still very, very new. It's very, very untested. We just need to be careful that it is. This is an extension of the fib, and it also has some price history from the past. Not much though, I will be honest with you. Let me see if I can find anything. We are going to find something at least, in my opinion, but we've got to look at this. It's only had a few little spikes in and around this range in the past. There's going to be something here. There's also going to be something up here as well, which is where we roughly stopped and turned around. There's also this wick here where we stopped and turned around for the previous extension. There's not much up here, which is why I keep saying just be careful, because things could really blow here. This weekly time frame looks absolutely savage. It looks brilliant. It's one of the best uptrends you're ever going to see in any market. You look at the monthly, very, very strong monthly candles. Boom, boom. Looking incredible right now. So if you're looking to short this, I wouldn't, because it's not worth the risk. The higher time frames are, you know, making it here. Brilliant. Moving on to Ethereum again, we'll look at the monthly, strong monthly, kind of obvious. Weekly, uptrend, yeah. Obviously this region is obviously an interesting point where it's been rejected, but when you look at the body closures, they're above these previous levels, so we've got to give some credit there. Ultimately though, again, support level's pretty good now. This was a trade opportunity that I had and I didn't take. The reason being, with my strategy, with the method that I use a daily time frame. I like to look for stuff like this. When you look at this, where it gradually retraces over into a position, I look at them. This was a boom, high, dip. Within literally, I think it was about 14 to 15 hours. It was very, very quick. This kind of like ran down at about 5 o'clock UK time in the UK. In the evening, it dumped pretty massively throughout the night, and then it bounced really, really well. Far too quick, in my opinion, to get an entry. If you are looking on the 4-hour time frame or something like that, this is what it looked like. It was incredibly fast. It was really, really fast. It was perfect in terms of everything that we looked at on premium, where we looked at, you know, the level up. So how we portrayed it was from this low to this high. It went right into the range that we wanted it to. 1, this weekly extension level, and 2, one of the Fibonacci levels, which is the 382. Perfect levels. Like, tapped it. It's like you couldn't get any more perfect if you tried. And that's what it looks like, and it portrays as that. Looking really good, looking really strong, but it needs to break up higher. I think today is going to be one of those days where we could see this trend continue going upwards, depending on the news, depending on the election news, and see where we go. If that is the case, could be very, very strong for the market, and we've still got to retrace higher. In my opinion, I think we're going to test this 490 range at least, and then potentially go up to 600. I still believe that from last week's target, 600 is a potential area where we can go to, and it's still a strong trend. You can see that. Originally last week, I rode a really good trade from 394 up to 434. I cut my losses pretty quickly around where this level was, where this was actually resistance, but it blew higher, which is a bit of a shame. It was a bit of a shame. I could have got a much higher result. Could have went up to this level, which was my original target, but I cut it a bit short because we were looking a bit. Bitcoin was looking a bit ropey. Parabolic Bitcoins are not good to trade in, because if that dips, ultimately the altcoins will dip hard. So you've got to be very, very careful. In terms of Chainlink, this again, I've got an alert on this region. I'm going to remove it now because this has been absolutely savage as well. Looking at this, it literally did the exact same thing, but it was in one candle stroke. Look at that candle. It's absolutely horrendous. Obviously, you've got to be careful of those type of candles, but again, very, very strong. Bounce off a region and back into it. And again, just to show you the thought process of this, very, very obvious. There you go. Up to the 618 levels, in and around where that box is. I like to put my box a little bit higher than it, just to kind of collect the range. Literally tap that level, basically the EMA on the nose, and bounce. Boom, hello. So very, very interesting. If this is going to carry on, the confluence between this 2 level and this extension is very, very important. So I wouldn't, again, I mentioned it last week, I would realistically expect in the next few days, potentially, if this is still a bull market, a $15 Chainlink, and maybe even higher, up and around where the $17 is. Reason why this is, I know there's an extension level around here as memory banked it. So just be careful with that area as well. You know, if it breaks above that $20 level, boom, it's going to go even higher. So with that being said, very, very interesting to see if this market is going to hold. As I say, break above this level, new price discovery mission. So it is a shame that missing out on these trades because they've not been retracing as per the book. But in my opinion, we could retrace again and actually get the levels, you know, executed properly. If that is the case, it could be a great little place. So keep an eye on it. This could be the potential top of this short region. Again, these could be played out again if it doesn't break another high, but we'll see what happens overall. Other coins to kind of mention and look at is, you know, XRP. The XRP one's a bit of a nuisance, really. It's not the greatest thing to trade in the world. It's a bit wishy-washy. Obviously, people are very, very bullish on this. Personally, I no longer hold XRP. I've kind of found other things that I want to kind of be a part of. You know, this is basically a stable coin at the moment. Yes, I think it will blow. I think it will go up incredibly well, but I also believe that if this goes up, so will the market. So am I going to lose anything? Not really. You know, it's still a 9 billion cap coin. Not really that worried. Again, it's showing its traits that it always moves in little channels. It's just a bit boring and wishy-washy. So just be careful if you are trading this, because it is... in my opinion, it doesn't spread the biggest risk reward. It doesn't give you that big, massive that cataclysmic move that you probably get from a Chainlink or from an Ethereum, or even like something like Tezos or something like that, which is quite an easy one to trade because it does move well. And that's the one that I'm really looking at getting into. But again, I put multiple setups on Tezos in premium because the risk reward is absolutely huge on it. In terms of other noticeable sort of things to look at as well in the market right now, the ones that are kind of doing well, in my opinion, I think this is going to retrace up nicely, is RSR. It's been trending really quite, it's been pushing really well. Even though it dipped quite severely, it's kind of been pushing back up. If you look at this move here, low to high 64%. It's very, very low down on the spectrum. It's going to have some very, very big percentages. When you look at this as well, this is the ultimate candy crusher. Look at that for a move. And I honestly didn't believe that this happened yesterday. When you look at this level here, and it went from this level up to this level and into the 618 for a few days and pop, absolutely exploded to the upside of like $15. This was a cataclysmic candle. If you look at this low to this high, that is a 67% move in a matter of, actually, let me just put that as correct, in obviously 2 days. Within 2 days it went up 68%, right? People are literally dumping their altcoins right now for Bitcoin, looking to get gains. I don't get it, because if you add 68% to your Bitcoin total in terms of percentage gains, it is way above all-time highs, and it's going to be a stretch. Altcoins will always make you more money ultimately, in my opinion, because of the price of Bitcoin. Whether you believe or not if Bitcoin's going to go to 6 figures, 7 figures, whatever, if that happens, the altcoins will also go up very, very much. Depends on dominance. So just be careful with that. But that was one of the big noticeable ones. I think people are starting to wake up to the fact of the fundamentals of Utrust. Certainly keep an eye on that, in my opinion. Other ones to mention, in my opinion, obviously Zilliqa. Zilliqa's been holding very, very strong. The reason being the staking levels will always help. Means less people are less likely to dump it. They're more happy to hold it because they're going to get a very, very strong passive income, currently 22% per year. So since staking's gone live, it's actually been pretty good. There's been a little bit of a buy the rumor, sell the news sort of element, but ultimately it's not dumped that much. It's been quite, steady really. When you zoom out, look at the yearly high, it's not that far away, so it's pretty strong. So overall, things are looking good in the market, in my opinion, very, very strong. Just to end finally, obviously the dominance of Bitcoin, and obviously the dominance of dollar. Starting off with the dollar, this was my actual play to go up to this level. It hasn't happened. We actually rejected just the day before the election kind of happened, pretty much. We dumped. Obviously Bitcoin rose, and this is where we are right now. We are now at these kind of levels here. So essentially we've got a new player at, let me just put that on there. In my opinion, we now got a new play we can look at. I'm going to remove these arrows for now because I do feel that these are a bit unwanted. I'm going to remove that one. This could be the new start of the range. If we break below this, Bitcoin is going to run again. Ultimately, gold will run as well. It'd be very, very interesting. In terms of the Bitcoin dominance, this has done exactly what I wanted it to do. This is went from this low. I've been calculating this for ages. Like if you've been watching the stuff that I do, even on my personal YouTube, I've been saying that we're going to go up and retrace this dip here, essentially. This huge move from this high to this low. We're going to retrace it, and we have to the 618 levels. We've literally turned around on it, and if we do dump, and I mean dump like properly dump, as in go down to 52, maybe even 48 levels of dominance, your altcoins will flood and fly, and your bags will be pumped. So there, overall analysis pretty much done. Total 2, it's not dumping, so that's always good. Just keep an eye on it. But yeah, if you enjoy, obviously like and subscribe. If you do want to get involved in premium, check out the links, and yeah, I'll see you very, very soon.